Alright, here we go. So, hey, it's Fundum Friday, and that means that we have a bunch of cool crowdfunding campaigns for you to check out. First up, this is not directly linked to the rest of them. It's very Microbit focused today. But if you have a burning need to bring your family together and track them with GPS things, you can talk to each other using these little devices, and you have 7 hours to go on it, so I thought I'd mention it first. PiLife and PIGo from PiCom, which has brought us in the past the YPi, the LowPi, all these other devices that basically make it really easy for you to write the same application and use it across a bunch of different protocols. For example, the YPi was for Wi-Fi with Python, MicroPython. They're all designed to use that language. It's super cool. We'll get back to that. The LowPi is for LoRa and MicroPython, and then these ones are basically a system that allows you to make a mesh network so all the nodes can talk to each other directly. It's got good range, and if you can access one part of the mesh network, then you can access any node anywhere along it, which means that you can have a sort of almost arbitrarily large network. I mean, it's limited by the hardware, but yeah. So this is being sold as less of a developer product and more of a sort of consumer product that you can clip on to they have all these different models for like attaching to clothes, for sports, to your children, if you're like out in the woods or whatever and you don't necessarily have Wi-Fi or cell access, you can still keep track of each other. They've got GPS built in. There's a jewelry clip, a carabiner, which is meant for pet collars and bags and stuff, but I think it's the coolest looking one. A bicycle attachment, and a key fob. So all these different options, along with a take-along little charger. Tons of different options to go with this. And so that's the PIGo, and there's two versions of that. There's the simple mesh networked version, and then there's the version that has, I think, a cell module as well. And that way, basically, you have a bunch of the simple ones with just the mesh networking, and they talk to each other. And then you have one that sort of links the whole thing up to the cloud. And then that talks to your PiLife app, which is basically a mobile app that allows you to actually, do the tracking and stuff. There's a bunch of advantages to this. It's delivering in June 2019, or maybe even May. You do have 7 hours to go, so if you want to go for it now. Obviously, you probably need at least 2 modules in order to make this a worthwhile purchase, but, just 2 of them will help you like keep track of each other in an iffy situation. So check that out. As usual, all of these are linked in the description of this video. Next up, we have a couple of Microbit focused projects. So this one, it has 14 days to go. They are almost 10 times funded. And it's a really cool little system that works with Lego Technics, as you can see here, as well as regular types of Lego. It's sort of like Little Bits meets Scratch and Microbit and Lego. So it's kind of all this stuff in one, which I think is pretty cool. There's an early bird junior bit kit, which you can still get, that ships in December for 29 bucks, which is not bad. $59 for a junior rover kit for a little robotics kit that's very kid-friendly. This is surprisingly inexpensive. Like, honestly, especially things that are designed for kids, they know they can kind of like gouge you on the prices, and they don't seem to be doing that. And my favorite thing about it is that one of the little modules is a tank tread. Look at this adorable thing. It's like a tiny little tank robot. Add to that the fact that you can put it inside of this little sort of dog thing and have it like chase a thingy around. Like, look at that. It's adorable. Stop. Yeah, and then you can program this with a Scratch analog. So one of the very popular coding systems for getting kids into programming. And of course you can slot in a Microbit to it, as I mentioned, so you can get this little car shield for Microbit and make the smallest, coolest Microbit car robot in just a few seconds. And in here it's clearly doing like a little line follower program. I'm assuming it will come with a bunch of like basic code. So yeah, 14 days to go on that one. And then next up we have the Planbit, which is a sensor-controlled robot using the Microbit. Again, a robotics one. This one has 30 days to go. It's nearly halfway there, so I believe in them. Totally. They have until January 14th, and if you order it, then you will get it in April 2019. The whole kit is $228 approximately, but it does give you a bunch of cool stuff. So not only the Microbit, but all these cool little pre-programmed animations, like little dancing, playing soccer, these little extra sensors, a sound sensor and distance sensor, a whole like really nicely designed kit with servos and stuff. Again, you have a block style programming editor. This is the JavaScript blocks editor. So what I really like about this is that you can do the drag and drop scratch thing, but then also you can toggle back and forth between that and JavaScript. It automatically updates each one to reflect what you change in each pane. And I've used this with the Microbit before and I really like it. So it helps you sort of like if you're fluent in one and not the other, if you want to write JavaScript but your kid is more comfortable with block programming or vice versa, who knows? You know, you can both work on something. It has sound sensors. This is a really adorable one where it makes a little sad face and sort of goes ah when you tip it over. And another thing that I think is really charming about this is how it kind of resembles the motion of those aliens in The Fifth Element. They do this kind of like side to side wobble thing. Like that, right? You could easily make one of those out of this kit. But then you can use the Mu editor to program this in Python as well. Super cool. All kinds of available languages and things. It seems like a little bit more intense assembly, obviously, than the Grove Junior modules, and more expensive, but it's a little bit more of an advanced platform, and you can program it in Python too, so I like that. If you're not familiar with the BBC Microbit, this is a thing that was given out to an entire generation of school students in the UK. I'm really jealous. And it has a 5x5 LED grid. It's got these 5 big friendly pins and then also a bunch of little ones that, so you can either like do really easy like alligator clips or whatever, but you can also slot it into all these kits and stuff so that it's really easy to interface with things. And it's designed to get kids into coding. So on the one hand, it's really easy. You can do it with Microsoft Make Code online with that sort of JavaScript Blockly editor and whatnot. But also you can program it with MicroPython, with I think even Arduino, I might be wrong, but yeah. And all kinds of other options where you can sort of start off really easily but go deeply. It's got an accelerometer, Bluetooth low energy communication between them. You can have them respond to each other. A compass, accelerometer, and a couple of buttons to interface with, plus a LiPo connection, which is really nice. Of course, you can find a bunch of these on Hackster. There's a ton of projects, including like you can control Spotify from it. I did a tutorial for that on Mac. Someone did one on Windows as well. We've got some examples for how teachers can get started with their classes with the Microbit. I also wanted to tell you about another Microbit-friendly little robot platform called KittenBot. So these folks are on Hackster as well. I got to meet Christina from their team as we were in our ARM Innovator Asia tour last year. And remember what I was saying about how you can kind of slot it into these attachments? KittenBot makes some of those attachments so that you can turn it into like a little sort of servo controller. Go in there. Yeah, super cool. Or this one is a little robot platform. You put a big 18650 battery in there, which I can't find right now. But then you connect up a couple of motors and it's got some like LEDs and stuff that you can play with too. Yeah, so there's plenty of places you can go if you decide to start with the Microbit. And learn from there. Again, it's a very simple platform that gives you a lot of headroom to sort of go further. I also wanted to share this week I made a little focusing device that I just published. It's a Pomodoro timer. If you're not familiar with the Pomodoro technique, it's a popular productivity technique that basically you set yourself this timer and it counts down 25 minutes of productivity, and then you get 5 minutes of a break. And this is a really simple project to program, so it's kind of a popular one for people who are starting to learn. And I've made a little accelerated version so you can kind of see what it does. But it just sort of counts up with these little sand particles that eventually will be accelerometer responsive. Anyway, this is programmed in MicroPython. It was really simple, and you can go find that now and learn how to program your Microbit with MicroPython. The code is down at the bottom as usual, and there's nothing extra here. It's just this, but eventually I'll make some kind of an enclosure. So you get this little sand timer count up thing, and then it gives you numbers to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 of break. And that, so far it's helped me. Surprisingly, I've heard about it a lot, but never thought that it would really be useful for me. But anyway, so just to quickly review, we've got PyLife and PIGo. Only 5 or 6 hours left to go on that one. Grove Junior Snap and Play programmable modules, the sort of cheaper version that does like Lego and sort of like little bits, and like magnetic snap together things and Scratch and Microbit things all in one. You've got the Planbit, which is a more advanced little robot with programmable servos and everything. Super cool. I should just close that tab. You've got KittenBot, which if you haven't seen it before, you should check it out. They've got a bunch of cool example projects, including a V-plotter, which is like, it hangs on a wall and then drives motors to draw this marker around on a piece of paper or whatever. You can check out the Microbit on Hackster. Look up the Pomodoro Sand Timer. There's a ton of different Pomodoro projects in general on Hackster, which is a great way if you're looking to learn a new platform or language or whatever. Really friendly. And then finally, since it's Friday, Artie, our marketing mastermind, has just started doing Freeform Friday, which I'm really excited about because I have a project or two that's done with freeform circuitry. I did a video on the whole art form yesterday, so check that out. You just go to your Hackster.io main page when you're logged in and click there for freeform circuitry. And also this beautiful project from someone whose name I believe is Jiri, but it's this Arduino freeform circuit ornament that goes on a tree, and it's really beautiful, so you should totally check that out. Alright, stay tuned for more Freeform Friday. Freeform Friday. That's surprisingly hard to say. And of course, our weekly Fundums. Can't wait to see more of what's coming up. And enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you on Monday. Ciao!